Welcome to today's video on the Dominator exhaust. So the Dominator is very similar looking style wise to the Akrapovic, but at a much reduced price point. You're looking at £250 for the can, whereas you're looking at £1,100 for an Akrapovic. The sound, well, I would say that the Dominator with the bung in is a little bit quieter than the stock exhaust when you have a straight through system such as I. When you take the bung out, it's going to sound like any straight through exhaust, maybe slightly quieter than a shorty can, but it's so loud at that point you can't tell the difference. For me personally, it was a little bit too quiet on my straight through system, so I drilled holes in the baffle, which has increased the noise to probably about the same level as the Akrapovic was, maybe a little bit quieter. Once you've drilled holes through the baffle, your next option to make it louder is to cut off the end, in effect make it shorter. However, do this in millimeter increments, because what you take off you cannot put back on. So the Dominator is a good budget option. For £250, it's got the looks. With a little bit of modification, you can really fine tune the sound. If you want quiet out of the bat, then with the baffle in, it is a really great option, because I do know some people are concerned with the noise levels of a full straight through can, and of course when you decat it, then trying to make it a bit more quieter. So the Dominator offers a very good option for that. So as you can see, the Dominator does really look the part. It's a smaller version of an Acra can. This can has the laser etching, which will cost about £40 more. But the only negative that I can say, apart from fine tuning the sound, which is not really Dominator's issue, would be where the welds aren't here and you get the rust points coming through. Now if you're on top of it with your cleaning, you can clean this out. However, I've found that you might need some metal polish clean on there to keep it in pristine condition. It doesn't look as sexy with the baffle in than with the baffle out, and once the baffle is in, it is a real pain to remove it. You need to get 2 fingers in, give it a good wiggle and get it out. But you really, once you've modified it or you like the sound as standard, you won't need to touch it again. Okay, so here is the Dominator Test. It's definitely probably a little bit quieter than an Acra stubby, but definitely louder than an Acra full length. This is with the baffle out. So that was a test with the bike warm, and it is definitely too loud. So that should give you a good example there of the sort of hole, if you like, where you can just see with the Dominator it's just a little bit bigger, and the actual can itself, if you can see here, is just a little bit shorter. And that's why, with the baffle out, it's definitely louder. Not quite stubby loud, but not far off it. And here we are with the baffle in. Now, the sounds, I probably would have liked just a little bit higher, but it's definitely louder than the stock exhaust. However, it's half of what it is with the baffle out. as you probably heard on Overrun, it's definitely fruitier. It's got some pops and bangs that the stock definitely doesn't have. So this could be a really nice compromise that on idle it's not too much louder than the stock exhaust, but when you give it some beans you then get some really nice rasp and some pops and bangs. So there you have it. That concludes my review on the Dominator exhaust can for a BMW S1000R. I was very happy with the product. I think for the price point and the service that you get from Dominator, I can highly recommend the product for you. Exhaust cans, the whole lot they do for different bikes. So Dominator as a brand I thought was quite good, and they were very responsive on their Instagram when you slip into their DMs. As with anything exhaust related though, sound is very subjective for me, especially as I have the straight through system. So for me, it was either too loud or too quiet, and I had to modify the bung to get the sound just right. That's pretty easy. You just drill some holes where you cut a bit off the end. If you do mess it up, it's only about 30-35 quid for an additional bung. So if you know you're going to be doing that, it might be worth ordering at the outset. But as always guys, I hope that was useful, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.